Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show. Hello, good morning. As I bump my camera here right off the bat, off to a good start. Guerilla Sports Daily. It's Wednesday morning here. It's always it's an interesting day here in the United States. September 11th, 2024. We're 23 years since something that I remember all too clearly, waking up in the morning and that really being the first time that I think I truly remember. A word that we now use, it seems like every single day, something unprecedented happening and not really knowing how to react and what to think and what to say. And, teachers, everyone wheeled in the TVs into the classrooms. And it's an interesting day because we're so far removed from it that it's not necessarily, top of your mind all the time anymore. But absolutely, on a day like today, it's a day that you stop and you reflect and you think about not only the people that were directly impacted by the terror attacks of September 11th, 2001, but how the country changed and how many lives were affected. So we think about that today. We think about those families, and something that I always think about is what the country felt like in the weeks and following those attacks and how unified everybody was and coming together. So you think about that and you hope that we can get back to that after, there's a presidential debate last night. And again, our hearts are with everyone who was impacted 23 years ago on September 11th. Like I said, just always kind of an interesting day. With every passing year that you get a little bit further and further from it. So, like I said, we're thinking about those folks today. But we do have a lot to talk about in the world of sports, a lot going on. As always, we're finding stuff to talk about here. So I got to make sure that we're pushing this out. That's kind of my responsibility. And, let's kick things off today. Like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about NFL. More records continue to break in terms of viewership, and we're getting back to those pre-pandemic kind of norms, I think would be the best way to put it. And venue sports crops back up in the news relative to those viewership numbers. We're going to talk a little bit about Russell Wilson, Shilo Sanders. We got an injury update on him. We're going to talk a little bit more about CU just in general. And then we've got some stuff that we're going to talk a little bit about as it regards not venue sports, but venues themselves. As we've got not necessarily controversy, but some issues in a couple different leagues, in a couple different cities. Then we'll wrap things up touching on some NHLs. There's a little bit of Colorado Avalanche breaking news this morning that we're going to get to, but let's kick things off. Jets, 49ers, Monday Night Football. A couple nights ago, we talked about Aaron Rodgers and his performance yesterday and really how the Jets looked after a whole season off. How did Aaron Rodgers look? Well, that's not what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about something that you've heard us mention several times with the kickoff of both college and now NFL. 20.5 million viewers for Monday Night Football, Jets 49ers. It's the second most watched week one game in ESPN's 19 seasons carrying Monday Night Football. Again, I mentioned this on yesterday's show as we had a couple games that pulled in numbers like this and really a couple that were beyond this, and both were hitting, highest we've seen since 2020, second highest in the last 15 years, et cetera. We are getting back to pre-pandemic levels of normalcy and trends. And there's so many. Now, the other part of this too, a lot of these ratings systems are kind of flawed. But again, a lot of them also weigh into account bars and places where people can go watch. A lot of people can go watch games. Those are graded separately, and again, that's something that has been less and less, or that was less and less from 2020 through. My point is, what we're seeing right now, people weren't going out to bars. People weren't gathering in these large areas to watch games, at least at the same regularity and the same frequency that they were before. We're starting to see that, I think, return. People are having parties. People are coming over, watching the games. And there just seems to be, every time there's a game, we're hitting some of these numbers, whether it's WNBA, Olympics, college football, NFL. These records are being broken, and a lot of them are referencing numbers that either haven't happened since 2020, or, some all-time records like this. It's also, you cannot turn your nose up at the fact that oh my gosh, Sunday Ticket, NFL Sunday Ticket now being made available on YouTube and YouTube TV. And really, I should have said those the other way, not just YouTube TV, but YouTube, just regular YouTube. Sunday Ticket now available there, no longer exclusively through DirecTV. This is making it more widely available. Again, having the option to go for Sunday Ticket just through YouTube means you don't have to be tied down to a contract, a monthly bill from a cable provider, satellite provider, have a piece of equipment on the outside of your house, making things more accessible, and I think driving the interest back up in NFL, in these ratings. And I imagine that we're going to continue to see things like this happen. Now, we just mentioned streaming, and this is going to be a story that we're going to stay on top of until there's a resolution. Venue Sports back in the news as the Comcast CEO has come out and made a statement about, he really didn't make a statement. He was at an event, a Q&A, where he was asked about it, and he said that this is an incomplete service, that what Venue Sports is offering does not offer every sports channel. And again, he kept coming back to that word, incomplete. And again, claims that it's something that consumers wouldn't want because it doesn't include every sports channel. Of course, every sports channel means the NBC suite of channels, which weren't included in this. And then, he also referenced that it doesn't include access to Prime Video, which now carries live games, Thursday Night Football. Also made the point that it doesn't include, check my notes, Paramount Plus. I think I forgot Paramount Plus twice while writing the note, so it only makes sense that the name slipped my mind here. But he claimed, doesn't include Prime Video, doesn't include Paramount Plus, both of which carry live NFL games. I personally, I think that's kind of a ridiculous argument to make because most services don't include those streaming platforms, which is, again, part of the ever-growing problem that we've talked about on this show before, right? That really with the streaming service, we're essentially getting back to a manually made cable bundle service where you're having to go out and purchase all these different streaming services to put them together into one place to get everything. So to me, Comcast making the argument that Venue Sports doesn't give you access to Amazon Prime or Paramount Plus is really kind of moot because even at Xfinity, they can sometimes run promotions where you get access to some of these streaming services temporarily or at maybe a small discount if you opt in. They are not included with those services either. He also came out and really backed up what the lawsuit is that is holding up Venue Sports, as launched by Fubo, saying that Venue needs to offer a bundle like that to be made available to Comcast and to Charter Cable and to Fubo as well, saying that, hey, look, we want that. And we want to be able to lump it in with the other sports channels that we have access to while offering a sports-only model. Well, Fox CEO and obviously part of the joint venture of Venue Sports has come back and pushed back and really kind of spun the argument that Comcast was using there against him and saying, the fact that this is an incomplete product is exactly why we should be able to take this to the market. And I'm going to quote him here. He said, quote, this is the Fox CEO, quote, "If we lose a cable subscriber to Venue, we lose money in that transaction because we lose a subscriber to Fox News. The local station retransmission is built within Venue, but we lose the Fox News subscribers, meaning they would get Fox Local. You're here in Denver, it's channel 13. You'd get Fox Local, but you would not get Fox News, the larger and one of the bigger money drivers for Fox. Murdoch said, so we don't want to have a like-to-like swap of cable to Venue. We want to target Venue very much just at the cord cutters who have already cut the cord and were never in the system to begin with. Again, so his argument is we are not trying to target customers who are currently with Comcast or Fubo or Charter. Instead, we are trying to target the folks that have already left those platforms and are looking for a better alternative, are looking for some live sports that they don't have to pay for everything. So again, I find it funny because the exact argument that Comcast is using against Venue is really why they're saying, right, it's an incomplete service. We don't offer everything. This isn't a monopoly. This should be allowed to be taken to market. And as you guys know, I agree. I think it's ridiculous that I can't go sign up for $40 a month to get a suite of channels, knowing that I would have to go out and get them from somewhere else, as is currently the situation, regardless of what happens with Venue Sports. So I thought it was a good strategy from Venue to take what Comcast was saying as part of the reason why the lawsuit should continue, and saying, nope, I'm going to stop you right there. That's exactly why we are arguing this lawsuit is ridiculous. We aren't trying to take your subscribers. In fact, we benefit from subscribers having, Xfinity cable, as we make more money on what you guys sell through Fox, News and our other affiliates. So again, Venue is continuing to forge through, trying to get this, appeal thrown out so that they can get their product to market. Of course, it was supposed to launch in August before the official kickoff of the NFL season. They continue to maintain that they are working to get this overturned so that they can launch this product sooner rather than later. After these developments this weekend, this is the first time we've heard from Comcast on the matter. I'll be anxious to see what comes of it next. It is clear Disney, Fox, Time Warner are not backing down on this. It's a venture that they believe in, and I believe they are going to continue to try to fight to get this one pushed out to the market. Talking about NFL here before we move on fully, real quick programming note for your Sunday viewing. Russell Wilson on his way to Denver, but doesn't look like he's going to be in the game. Russell Wilson's been battling an injury since camp started, but the whole time Mike Tomlin and the rest of the Pittsburgh Steelers maintained that he would be ready to go by the time week 1 rolled around. Well, Justin Fields took advantage and had a really strong preseason, really showed out. A lot of people were wondering if the Steelers would just outright name him the week 1 starter, regardless of Russell Wilson's health or not. They didn't do that. Mike Tomlin came out and said Russell Wilson will be the week 1 starter. And then when week 1 rolled around, he wasn't quite healthy. Some people were giving him a hard time here. This photo right now on the screen is actually Russell Wilson during week 1. He was ruled inactive, wasn't an option to play, was not healthy, was not on the active roster for game day. I mean, he's on the active roster, but he was listed as inactive, wasn't playing. Still fully dressed out. Folks on the internet were giving him a hard time. But again, it was, well, he's sitting out for week 1. He'll be ready to go Denver week 2. Now, it has not been officially confirmed, but he is likely out against the Denver Broncos. And really, the Pittsburgh Steelers have all but said it's going to take a pretty dramatic shift for that to change. There are a lot of folks out there on the internet, because of the play of Justin Fields, who are speculating that this is maybe Pittsburgh's most PR-friendly way of putting Russell Wilson into the backup quarterback role and letting Justin Fields see what he can do. Again, I'm not going to pile onto Russell Wilson here. I think there's going to be plenty of that happening in Denver this week. We'll see. It's definitely disappointing. It is definitely disappointing for, I think, Bronco fans. I'd be willing to bet Sean Payton, some of the Broncos players. It was a well-documented. The relationship just didn't work here. Pro athletes are competitive. I'm sure Russell Wilson is disappointed. I'm sure Russell Wilson wanted to come back to Denver and kind of stuff it back in everyone's face. We'll see if at the last second he maybe, on Friday pulls everything together and is able to play. I'm not counting on it. Looks like it'll be Justin Fields. I imagine Russell Wilson will be on the sidelines, probably hearing it a lot from Bronco fans. Going to move on from the NFL, but staying with football just for right now. Shilo Sanders left the CU Nebraska game in the first quarter, did not return. Deion Sanders told us after the game it was potentially a fracture. They were having to keep an eye on it. Well, as you can see right here, Shilo Sanders yesterday underwent successful surgery on his arm. No further details have been released other than he'll be out for 2 to 3 weeks. We were up in Boulder yesterday, caught up with Deion Sanders on what the update is for Shilo.
Knowing Shilo has God in his corner, I'm telling you. I had never seen nothing like it, the healing ability. I think Shilo was out 4.5 months with a knee surgery. I mean, that's how quickly he came back. Then coming back from a shoulder surgery as well. I mean, Shilo he has the hand of God on him. So I would say 2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks. We'll keep an eye on it. Definitely good news when you hear surgery on an athlete. Your mind immediately goes to, well, man, how long is that going to keep them out? Are they done for the season? Especially with the season not only as short as football, but as especially short as college football. Good to hear that Shilo Sanders, nothing more serious. Surgery, a few weeks off the field, and he should be back around the team. Look, we here in media, we don't really root for teams. We don't really root for players. We root for storylines. And, we hope for the best for individuals. We want to see individuals have success. That's the one thing that how this job kind of changes your relationship with the sports as you get to know people a little bit more personally, and you kind of can see past these giants of athletes. Happy to see that this isn't the end of the season for Shilo Sanders, but that does not mean that we are done talking about Coach Prime and the CU Buffs. A rumor came out this past week. More rumors swirling about the CU Buffs football program. This time, it was that Deion Sanders had specifically requested the band not play the fight song after his son, Shadur Sanders, scores a touchdown. His reasoning, the reports allege, was that he said he wanted the stadium to be able to play Shilo's choice of music, his rap music, that he chose for his celebration after a touchdown. So he did not want the band playing. Instead of me commenting on this, why don't we just show you what Prime said himself yesterday?
Let me start out with the main thing. Whoever reported that I told the band not to play the fight song, that's idiotic. Y'all know that. Like, when you saw that, you know that was a lie. We got to start having some kind of accountability to this. I understand that this is a free and an open world, that everybody is not a journalist, everybody's not an analyst, everybody's really hadn't put in a lot of work to do what you all do. I'm thankful for many of y'all that take your job and your craft serious, and consequently, you get facts before you run with false narratives.
So, look, I mean, ridiculous. Outright lie. This one I thought sounded a little far-fetched when I first heard it, because that's the type of stuff that, like, really isn't up to the football coach. Like, they can make that request, but if the band director is still going to tell the band to play the fight song because that's what they've done since the program's inception, then that's what they're going to do. Look, I've talked about it on here that I don't love, the fact that Sean Keeler can't ask questions. Now, Prime, CU, their athletic department, they have every right to decide who they do and do not want to credential to their press box. The worry that comes to my head is like, all right, well, are we being selective with who we're asking questions of? And is it becoming this contentious thing with the media? What I really liked about what Prime did there was that he made the time to call out that this stuff is coming from people who don't take the time to perfect their craft. These types of lies, these types of things. Again, this is kind of independent from the Sean Keeler stuff. I know Sean, he's a great guy, works his tail off. That's not what I'm talking about here. Prime calls out the fact that, hey, look, we got a lot of people out there who don't verify their sources, don't check their facts, don't put in work on their craft. That spoke to me because we talk at Guerilla Sports a lot about, look, we work in professional sports, and make no mistake, that's what college football at bare minimum is now. It's professional sports with all the NIL money. But, we work in professional sports, so we want to carry ourselves as if we are in professional sports. We put a lot of time, attention, and work into what we do, the reports that we make. And I appreciated Deion saying, look, this is not me coming at you here in this room. This is me coming at the people who don't put in the work. This is me coming at the people who just hear something and run with it. And look, if this isn't true, as he's saying, I think he's completely within his right to say that. Again, I thought this one in particular, the telling the band not to play the fight song, I thought that one sounded like a little bit of a stretch to me, and Prime vehemently pushes back on that yesterday. I imagine this is kind of putting an end to that one, unless someone can come out with some type of hard verified report that says otherwise. I'm going with Prime on this one. Again, what fight song is played, when it's played, not really up to the football coach in general. Okay, shifting away from football, let's talk Philadelphia 76ers looking to get an arena, a new arena. I wanted to say stadium. New arena done, new arena built in Philadelphia, and it's been a little bit of a process. Right now, the city is saying if you want that, it has to be completely privately funded, and we're not going to help. And you guys got to figure out a way to make this happen. There's been issues with some of the land and where it's going to go. And again, getting money from outside sources, not just private funding, And, well, the state of New Jersey has stepped up and said, hey, Philadelphia 76ers, if things aren't working out for you there, why don't you come over here to Camden, where we will offer you a near $500 million tax credit, $400 million in tax credit being offered by the state of New Jersey to the Philadelphia 76ers to move to Camden and play there, build their new arena there. Now, if you are unfamiliar with the area, where where Philadelphia is in relation to Camden, New Jersey, that might be something where you're saying, whoa, not only are they asking for a new arena, but our state of New Jersey's asking them to relocate. Oh my gosh, what are the fans going to say? What are the fans going to do? Well, there would be, I guess, technically a chance that they would change their name to the New Jersey 76ers, which would then pose some problems for 76ers, but that's neither here nor there. I guess they could technically do that. They could change their name to New Jersey. There's a couple different teams that play in New Jersey who don't have that moniker, that use New York instead. So I guess they wouldn't have to. But the other kind of small caveat here is, while it sounds like a little bit of an extreme change going from Philadelphia to Camden, New Jersey, those two destinations are 13 minutes apart by car. So this is a move that really the state of New Jersey understands would be something that would entice the 76ers, because they're offering them the tax credits to simply go across state lines, while really having a small impact on fans who want to attend the games. This wouldn't be something like you're moving it 45 minutes to an hour away. You're having to get on a train or something like that. Nope. This is a couple extra exits. You cross over the bridge and you're in New Jersey and you can go to the game. So again, the headline maybe makes it sound a little bit different than what it actually is. And by the way, this has caught the attention of the 76ers. They did not immediately brush it off. It is something that they are entertaining right now. Again, $500 million almost in tax credits is a significant difference when your other option is privately fund this project completely on your own. We'll keep an eye on this one. Again, my hunch would be that if they did that, they would probably keep the moniker Philadelphia 76ers and just play out of Camden, New Jersey, which I don't think the state of New Jersey would mind at all. They would still be getting all of the benefits from having that shiny new arena there in Camden. Sticking with some arena news here, the Oakland A's are set to wrap up their tenure in Oakland this month. September 25th will be the final game played at the Oakland Coliseum, and that has been empty basically this whole season as fans continue to protest the team's move. The Oakland A's are projected to finish the season with a combined less than 800,000 fans in attendance across all 80-plus home games. It would be one of the lowest attended seasons in MLB history since we've gone to the larger stadiums and mass capacity crowds, things like that. Fans have decided, you know what? We're putting aside the boycott. We're putting aside our differences with ownership, and we are going to come out, go to the Coliseum, and support our Oakland A's one last time. The game is already sold out. Resale tickets starting at about $100 online. Again, this is a stadium that the upper level fans are actually sending letters and petitioning to the team saying, hey, in preparation for that last game of the season, something needs to be done in the upper level. It is not regularly maintained. It is not regularly staffed. There's typically no security. There's typically very, very, very few, if any, concession stands or concession workers that service the nosebleeds or the 400 level in Oakland. So they're saying, hey, we are already sold out to the rim. Not only are we asking that you guys do something to clean things up there, but as you can see right up here, there's a large unused portion of the Oakland A's stadium. Well, this was an addition when the Oakland Raiders were also playing out of the Coliseum. Once the Raiders left, got their own stadium in Oakland, now obviously in Vegas, that section was covered up and is almost never sold. There's seats under the tarps, but very rarely are those tarps uncovered to give use and access to those seats. I believe it's been 8 times since the Oakland Raiders left. Well, fans are calling on the team to make those seats available to fit 8,000 plus more fans in the building for the final game. So Oakland fans are trying to celebrate their team. And while the team is moving out of Oakland and hopefully heading down the road to Vegas, that is not all. It's not pretty what lies ahead for the Oakland A's either. They'll be playing 3 years temporarily in Sacramento, sharing the field with a minor league team. And the issue with the field in Sacramento is, one, in the summer, you can get triple-digit temperatures. And two, it's an artificial turf field, which many are saying is a necessity given that you will have 2 teams playing out of the same facility, saying that the grass would not be able to hold up if it was real grass. You need it to be artificial turf, which a lot of the players are pushing back on. We've seen the issues that has caused health and injury-wise in the NFL, but also the way that the ball bounces, the way that you make plays on grounders is just a little bit different on artificial turf than it is grass. Then if you look past those 3 years to Vegas, well, the Tropicana was finally set with a demolition date that may have already come and gone. I don't quite remember, but it is being demolished here either within the last couple of weeks or the next couple of weeks ahead. But that stadium still has not been fully approved. The ink has not dried yet on what that stadium is going to look like, what the zoning options are, and how long it will actually take to build. So they're getting out of Oakland, which I believe is what ownership and others within the organization wanted. I'm sure the players are relieved to have, to be getting out of this mess where it's, do they want us? Do they not? But it's not all sunshine and rainbows for the Oakland A's and their future. Okay. 2 last topics here. They're both going to be quick, one of which we will talk about a little bit more here coming up in a few hours. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare signs a PTO with the Colorado Avalanche. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, of course, played with the Avs for 2 seasons after COVID, during the COVID season, and then one after, was absolutely beloved by the organization and the fans. To me, this is a little bit of your Andrew Cogliano replacement. veteran leader that folks are going to rally behind, who is, probably going to be a healthy scratch on some nights, which he's okay with. A little bit of an older guy, penalty kill specialist, really kind of a meat and potatoes type of player coming back to the Avs, who has familiarity not only with the organization, but with a lot of the players. They know that he fits in. They know he buys into the culture, the work ethic, et cetera, et cetera. He actually played for the Tampa Bay Lightning when the Avs knocked the Lightning off in the Stanley Cup Finals a couple of years ago. So while he wasn't with the Avs for the Stanley Cup run, he has certainly not been without his deep playoff experience since leaving. Again, it's a PTO, no guarantee that he gets a deal, but to me, this screams league minimum fourth line center that the Avs were looking for. We'll talk, myself, Megan Angley, we'll talk a little bit more about this later this afternoon. Wrapping things up with just the feel-good story of the day. Roberto Luongo. What a guy. What a guy. An all-time great in the NHL, and really just has become one of the more popular personalities in hockey away from the game. He's an executive with the Florida Panthers. He was one of the people that many were happiest to see finally get a Stanley Cup this past summer, making the day of a bunch of beer league players who put the call out on Facebook that they needed a goalie for their beer league championship game. Theirs was unavailable. Roberto Luongo saw it, responded, showed up, and helped them knock off the first place team in that beer league to win the championship 4-2. And it's funny, because he got dressed in a different room and walked in fully ready to the locker room where, full of players who knew that Roberto Luongo was coming, but couldn't really believe their eyes. A bunch of the players were pulling out their phones, taking pictures. He went out there, helped them win 4-2 to capture a beer league championship. Nobody but Roberto Luongo would do this. I absolutely love it. The hockey world is better when Roberto Luongo is in it, and stories like this are exactly why. I loved this one, and it was the first thing I put in my rundown this morning when I saw it, then filled everything else in. Knew I had to cap it off with this one. I've gone a couple minutes long, so that's all I'll say here, but highly encourage you to go watch the video that's floating around social media right now of him walking into the locker room in full gear. That is going to do it for today. Chloe back there running the board today. I'm at home. Obviously, as you can tell, this isn't the Guerilla Sports Studios. We had a little bit of a scheduling issue this morning. I'm actually heading over to the Avs practice facility just very quickly right now before we are officially there tomorrow morning at 8:45 for prospect practice. This is it. We're on the eve of returning to the rink for official on-ice activities. I just can't help myself. I'm heading over there right after this before heading down to the studio to chat with Megan. We'll jump on live with you guys. We'll have a live Q&A this afternoon that'll feature both myself and Megan Angley. Will be answering questions together. So if you guys have interest in that, we'll send a tweet out so you can get some preliminary questions in. Then we will be doing a live Q&A here this afternoon. Megan's got an interview that she's pre-recording that'll be coming out on some future content that I think you guys are all going to really like. Whew. I'm excited, folks. Football is back in full swing, college and NFL. We're on the eve of official on-ice activities for the NHL. Cannot wait. For Chloe back there running the board, I'm Jesse Montaño. Thanks so much for listening, guys. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Quick programming note that a couple of my producers are learning about in real time. We're going to have to do the morning show at noon tomorrow. The daily show, not the morning show, at noon tomorrow. Again, we've just got some scheduling conflicts, but we are not going to let you guys go a day without getting the daily show in. So a little bit of a different time for tomorrow, but we'll be right back at it tomorrow morning. Right here on Guerilla Sports. For Chloe, I'm Jesse Montaño. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We will see you tomorrow.